And hello and good morning to you. Time for our Community Profile program this Wednesday, August 5th, 2015. Milton Baker along with you. Our co-host, executive producer, Miss Sandy Alexander could not be here with us today, and she'll be back with us next week. We have the Community Profile today with a very special guest, Mr. Jim Quinland. Jim, if you would, tell everybody introduce yourself to the folks. Tell them your capacity with the American Legion Baseball World Series in Shelby, North Carolina.
Well, basically, I was the national director for about 30 years with the Indianapolis. Retired a couple of years ago. My wife and I wanted to stay involved, wanted to move down south so she didn't have to shovel so much snow. So we moved to Shelby here, and I've just been helping out the local committee, a bit of a consultant, trying to get out and promote the program, promote the American Legion World Series, go to a lot of Legion events.
That's great, yes. And so you moved to where the World Series is for its permanent home now, I guess, for the last 5-6 years now in Shelby?
Yeah, 2011 was the first year that Shelby hosted it on a full-time basis. They hosted it once before in 2008.
Yeah.
The national committee expenses were getting kind of expensive because the American Legion's a little bit different than most other youth programs. When a team wins a state tournament, the American Legion picks up all that expense for busing or flying. Well, to consolidate some of these expenses, because airlines are getting a little more expensive, certainly baggage, airfares, if you add in 1,000 kids at $50 a pop, all of a sudden baggage was brutally expensive. So then they decided to go with one permanent site and try to build on success each and every year. Prior to this, they'd moved around in the 80-some years that it had been going. It moved around to 55 different cities. So maybe Fargo hosted it 2 or 3 times. But we were in Bartlesville, we were in Spokane, and every year we had to re-educate a new committee.
Yeah.
Now we come back year after year, and we're really building on that success.
It sounds like it. It sounds like the events that Shelby puts together each year just keep getting better and better, and more things for the players, the fans, everyone involved. They've Keeter Stadium, Veterans Field there in Shelby has really, just an amazing transformation to that facility over the years from what it was back when it was, when I was first starting out here in the radio area covering some baseball over there. It was a lot different then. Let me tell you that, a whole lot different.
They put some wonderful improvements into the ballpark. Again, Lowe's came through and helped us build a nice little complex for the national staff to work out of. The big fans they have over there to cool the fans off. The canopy is a huge help. And again, it's allowed them to do other things. For example, this year, they're going to have a player and parent breakfast for the first time ever. Normally, the parents are sort of left out. They get told when the games are and buy your tickets. Well, on Wednesday morning, the players and the parents are going to be invited. We have a very special guest speaker coming in Tuesday night for the commander's reception, Rob O'Neill, who was the SEAL, and he was the SEAL team leader that rescued Captain Phillips. He was the leader of the SEAL Team 6 that went and got Osama bin Laden. So, and we told him, would you mind sticking around and talking to the ball players? He says, I'd love to. Yeah. He says, most of those people in the audience understand what we do. He says, but these are young, impressionable young men who really, they're just now starting off. So he has a great message. Anybody who can go to that reception, you have to have a ticket to get in, are going to be really impressed with Rob O'Neill. And again, he's going to be speaking to the players and the coaches and the parents on Wednesday morning. So that's something new.
Yeah, I heard about that, and that's quite a quite an honor. And not just anyone can go see this American hero speak, because I understand security's very tight around him, as it should be, because he's probably there's some operatives out there for the other side that probably would be looking to
the sheriff
go after
and the
him.
Shelby police, the place is going to be locked down. There'll be security getting through. Ladies with their bags are going to get their handbags checked. There'll be quite a bit of security out there. But again, he's got a great message. Heard him once before speak. He's just outstanding speaker.
All right, fantastic. And what day is that?
Now that's going to be on Tuesday night, August 11th. Just prior to that, they're going to dedicate a statue. Again, part of Eddie Holbrook's, who's the chairman's vision, was to build a military plaza out there, and he was going to put in a statue that represented the soldiers and Marines and airmen out there, which he did. And the second statue was supposed to be a Legionnaire, because it's the Legion members that got together and formed this baseball program that's gone on for 90 years now. Well, we lost one of our key North Carolina leaders last year, a gentleman named Jerry Hedrick. He was what they call the National Executive Committee man. Jerry is a great friend. He could run interference for us on the national level, and we lost him last year. So they're going to have a special dedication to both Jerry and Jim Horn on Tuesday night. From that statue dedication, we're going to go over and listen to Rob O'Neill.
Yeah, so like I say, Shelby has, since becoming the home for the World Series, American Legion World Series, it's just really each year you continue to come up with new ideas and expand on what you've already done. You were telling me off the air they've done a lot of work on the field. It was a pretty rough winter and a lot of ball played on that field, and so there's been a lot of work done on the turf itself.
Yeah, last year we had a bit of a problem where, again, between the winter freeze and the disease, the field was pretty in bad shape. So they, again, took the bull by the horns and said, we got to have this first class. So they hired the Piedmont local company here in town, and they've been over there. They've top dressed it. They put down the fertilizer, bought a new lawnmower to mow it nice, and so the field is looking much, much better this year. Last year, we had to cheat a little bit, and we had to spray it green a little bit in those dead spots. This year, we don't have to do any spraying this year. It's all green and looks beautiful over there.
Well, good deal. Yeah, tell us about the attention the American Legion World Series is getting now from the media. Of course, the local media is, be covering it. We'll be covering the games on the radio, but also the national media as well has expanded their coverage of the World Series, I believe.
Yeah, that was one of the things we needed to improve on them, and we did on our national baseball website or on our Shelby website. Media can come in and register. We've had 41 different people register to get credentials and want to do broadcast. We're getting more and more TV stations out of the Charlotte area coming by, but we have radio coming in from other parts of the country where they follow their team along. So now they can register online. We have a new media guide combined with a record book, so it'll give them a lot of history and background. Again, ESPN is expanding their coverage because, again, they like the atmosphere that Shelby has created here. That you literally have 7,000 fans. That just adds a lot of electricity, a lot of atmosphere. So ESPNU has expanded their coverage. They're going to do the semifinals, and people who were at the games last year know it's the bottom of the ninth before those games were determined. They were outstanding games. So we're excited. We've got, again, a new media package for the media that are coming in. Certainly with Rob O'Neill coming in, Kelly Pickler coming in on Saturday. We're getting a lot of attention from the media.
Yeah, let's talk about, we talked yesterday with the Davises about the 7th Inning Stretch Festival, but for anybody that missed it yesterday, this Saturday morning, beginning at 8 o'clock, there's lots of events, and then officially everything gets underway at 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, and there's a free concert, a lot of music, but the free concert by Kelly Pickler also Saturday night.
She's going to be a huge hit, and again, the amount of support we've gotten that from local businesses. Last year, off the top of my head, and I'm not probably accurate on this, but she had around 31, 33 different vendors show up. This year, she had 72. So that means the community is coming forward and saying, we think this is a good event. This is really good, and we want to have that exposure out there. So we're expecting record-breaking attendance downtown, certainly a lot more vendors downtown. Kelly Pickler is just going to really blow them away. She's going to be fun and exciting. Got a young group coming in, Walker County, who's coming in from Indianapolis, my home stomping grounds from Indiana. they'll be part of this. Thompson Square, we noticed on their website, they're looking forward to coming over on Wednesday night, the following Wednesday for August 12th, when we have our celebration of champions, when we march all 8 teams onto the field. We'll do a sportsmanship code, and then we'll have a concert for the boys. And again, that's something new that has never happened in the past. In the past, these boys went to a banquet at the state tournament, they went to a banquet at the regional tournament, and they went to a banquet at the World Series. Now we've changed that to a celebration of champions. We had a concert last year for them, and we asked the coaches, do you like the banquet? And they go, yeah, we love the banquet, but this is so much better. After going to 2 banquets, it's kind of nice. This was refreshing. Coaches, we said, do you want us to go back to the celebration, or do you want us to go back to the banquet? They go, keep with the celebration of champions. So we run a risk of rain a little bit out there, but they really loved the celebration of champions last year. And again, we've got a couple surprises out there for this year. A little more smoke and fireworks going on, so it'll add a little bit more to it this year. It'll be even more exciting.
And the games actually begin on Thursday.
On Thursday, on the 13th. I was just noticing we have a new app that's on basically a smartphone, and they're playing Legion Baseball. The first games just got underway at these regional ones. So on Sunday night, we find out who wins. Monday, they're buying airline tickets. Tuesday, they're getting on the plane. Wednesday, they're going to arrive, and we're going to have that celebration of champions for them. And then Thursday, the first pitch is at 10 o'clock, or at noon, I'm sorry. It'd be noon on Wednesday, or it'd be noon on Thursday, August 13th.
So back in May, at whatever given time, thousands of or hundreds or maybe thousands of teams set foot on the baseball field, all of them shooting for one place in the United States, and that's to come to Shelby, North.
Yep.
How many Legion teams do you know right off the top of your head?
Yeah, there's just a little bit over 4,000 teams. 4,000 teams nationwide. Some teams, such as the Wyomings and Montana, where they don't have high school ball, they start playing Legion baseball back in April.
Oh, okay.
Other teams, again, my good friend John Hayes up in Indiana, he coaches a Legion team. He can't start until about the 2nd, 3rd week in June because school is still in session up there. So those teams have to scramble to get a lot more games in up there in the northern states, the Minnesotas and Vermonts and everything. But again, 4,000 teams registered. We're down to the final 64. Come Sunday, we'll be down to the final 8.
Yeah, and talk about North Carolina now. The North Carolina state champions are Rowan County, and they're in the regionals out in Asheboro, which happens, the regionals happen to be in Asheboro. Now, Asheboro has it for a while, don't they?
Yeah, well, again, they seek bids on this, and they go with a 2-year contract, and that's to help out the local hosts. Usually the first year they break even. Second year they make a few dollars. Now, Rowan County's going to go to Asheboro. Asheboro's hosted it twice, and they came back and said, we want to host it a 3rd and 4th year. They had a very good, successful tournament over there. They go, this is good. We can make some money at that. And they make the money, and it goes into helping their team. So it's going to be in Asheboro this year and again next year.
So with it being in North Carolina, the regional being in North Carolina, you have a chance for the North Carolina champion or the host team, Randolph County, to make it to the World Series.
And Randolph County just barely got beat last year by the team from Jacksonville, Florida. They would have been here another couple runs, they would have been here. So, yeah, we got a chance to get 2 teams in here. There's a tough team out of South Carolina that's 23-0, which is just unheard of. But Chapin Newberry, as a matter of fact, they're playing Florida right now in game number 1 down over there in Asheboro.
And folks can keep up with that regional. You've got an app on your phone there, or I'm sure the Asheboro radio station, you could probably pick up information online, if not pick up the audio of the games there on Asheboro's radio outlet out there.
Well, again, this is one of the things they developed so people could keep up. Again, some places we have great Legion coverage, such as North Carolina here. You can pick it up on the radio, usually get a newspaper report. But when you get to some of these remote places, Cheyenne, Wyoming, just wonderful people out there. But again, they're not going to cover nationwide like we do here. So people can go on to the American Legion website, download the app, And there we go. It's 0-0 in the fourth inning right now. We've got bases loaded, 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out, and South Carolina's at bat.
Well,
so,
you could do play-by-play right there and
yeah.
just act like you're at the game.
It's kind of fun and exciting to find out who's going to score the first runs, who's going to win, and who's going to come here. We have several teams who've played in the World Series in the past. They know how to win. Brookline, for example, won their state tournament. They had to do it the hard way. They came through the losers bracket, and they won 9-6. So the young man who pitched a shutout last year gave up 6 runs this year, but they still won 9-6. So Brookline's going to be playing. Hawaii's going to be playing. But we have new teams that have never played in a regional tournament before that are playing for the first time. So we got some new looks coming in.
And let's tell the fans now they want to go to the World Series in Shelby. It's of course at the Veterans Stadium, Keeter Field, on the campus of Shelby High School, right off 74 bypass there in Shelby. How much are tournament tickets or single game tickets or session tickets, things like that?
Well, and they sort of changed that this year. In the past, you'd buy a session ticket. Now it's just a tournament pass for the whole day. So $10 for adults, $5 for students, get you into all 3 games for the day. And they have different tickets for every day. So if you want to go to a first game, you can get a general admission tickets. Right now, $35 for all 15 games. So
that's something. That is a great price.
$2.25, yeah. And the prices at the concession stand are extremely reasonable. Again, we've kept the prices low, so when the gentleman brings his family in, and he's got little Johnny and little Jill, and he's going to feed him a hot dog and a hamburger, he can feed the family for $10. It's not going to cost him an arm and a leg.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thinking about the fans and families in that regard. So ample seating area, and are there any sort of seats that you can purchase tickets for, like a reserve type seat or a box seat, whatever you want to call it?
Well, the box seats are sold out, and there's a waiting list. The
Okay.
reserve seats are sold out, and there's a waiting list. In fact, we just put in 150 more reserve seats to take care of part of that waiting list, but we still have a waiting list on rocking chairs. We kind of joke around. We got a waiting list for rocking chairs, reserve seats, for the box seats, and even to be a bat boy or bat girl. We have 16 youngsters who've been selected to be a bat boy, bat girl for this tournament. We had 52 applications, so there's a lot of enthusiasm out there for people to attend this tournament.
And a couple other things I want to touch on. One is parking, and then one is the national anthem singers too. So let's talk about parking first. You still have shuttle service if you park back up in the high school parking lot area?
Yes, we do. We have golf carts. We've got tractors, and from Cherville we have the little blue chew is coming.
Engineer Rick.
Yeah, Engineer Rick's going to bring his vehicle down there. That'll haul about 24 people at a pop. They'll literally, if you get out of your car and you park over there, probably within 30 seconds, somebody's going to be over there to meet you, put you on the golf cart or on the tram, get you to the front of the stadium. Afterwards, it gets a little crazy when you have 7,000 people trying to leave. You're going to have to be a little bit patient, but we'll get you out to your car. And again, this is a service that Shelby provides, part of that hospitality, that if you'd go to the College World Series, you're going to walk a mile or two to get to that ballpark. Here, we're going to give you a ride.
Give you a ride. And you're talking about the people who waiting list applications for Bat Boy, Bat Girl. I'm sure a lot of people wanted to be a part of the festivities, pregame festivities, the national anthem, and I know those singers have already been chosen. So
yeah, Charlie does a good job with that. But again, he's probably have 40 people that said, "I want to sing the anthem." Well, one, they've got to do an audition. The American Legion wants a traditional national anthem sung, and again, they have to audition, and sometimes we have to tell them no, or you need a little bit more practice. But yeah, we have some outstanding people coming out to do the national anthem.
All right. Any other areas to touch on? I know tried to cover everything, but it's just like when you've got tons of different things you have to think about and get somebody working on. And preparation for this didn't start last week.
No, it literally starts a couple weeks after last year's World Series. We started looking at what went well, what can we improve upon. Last night, for example, we had our volunteers show up to get their World Series shirts, and we had over almost 700 people show up.
How about that?
So we're starting to develop up a little bit of a waiting list for volunteers. Not everybody can drive a tractor, but he has plenty of tractor drivers and golf cart drivers. But again, the volunteers in this area are just amazing. They come from Gaston and Cherryville and all over, and that just makes the tournament more exciting when people really do help out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at this point, like I say, not until Sunday night will you know all the teams involved, but could be teams from any and every state in the union, and Puerto Rico as well. They still eligible?
Puerto Rico dropped out here a couple years ago
okay.
when they lost their chairman. He was a World War II veteran. He passed away. They didn't have anybody pick up the leadership down there. So unfortunately, we lost Puerto Rico. We do have teams in Canada. And then from time to time, a Canadian team will win. They'll go on to a regional tournament, but we've never had a Canadian team here. A little trivia, there's been 3 states that we've never had a team from. Alaska, even though they have 30-some teams up in Alaska. Surprisingly enough, New Mexico has never sent a team onto the World Series. And Wyoming, we've never had a team from Wyoming, but we've had all the other states covered. Again, the program continues to do very well, and this is a great place to have a World Series.
It is. It really is. Well, thank you, Jim. Appreciate you coming in, and good luck. Hope everything runs as smooth as it can possibly run during the big World Series event there. And I'm looking forward to broadcasting on the radio a couple of games myself, CSL, WLON, WOHS, and we'll be there to cover all the games on radio, audio. 3 games will be on ESPN, I believe you said as well. And that what ESPN channel would that be?
Well, that'll be ESPNU.
You?
Now, ESPN3, we're going to cover games 1 through 12. They can get it on the web, on the internet, but ESPNU will cover games 13, 14, and 15 for us.
All right. So we hope if you can't make it to the World Series, you will listen in on the radio or some other source there for coverage of the games. And again, everything starts week from tomorrow, the 13th of August. And again, I appreciate you guys throwing this big tournament in honor of my birthday every year. It usually falls during World Series week.
I'm sure that was in Eddie's bid guide. The reason you need to come to Shelby and do it this time is because Milt's got a birthday.
That's right, my birthday. All right. Well, anyway, folks, we thank you. Hope you enjoyed the program today. Jim, again, thank you for being here. I'm sure your wife, Linda, is very involved with the process as well. And you guys, former national director here, moving to Shelby just to be a part of it, of the World Series. One of your big reasons for moving to Shelby is to continue to be a part of Legion baseball in the World Series. That's outstanding.
It's a special place.
Yep. All right. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We'll be back on Friday with the Elder Law Report. Greg McIntyre, elder law attorney from Shelby, has the Elder Law Report every Friday. We'll be back then. See you later. And best wishes to my co-host and executive producer, Sandy Alexander, who couldn't be with us today. God bless you, Sandy, and we'll see you next week.
I like the music you play.
Music's great.
Bingo Country, WHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, WCSL